Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Bon après-midi et bienvenue. La route vers la Coupe Grey est bien lancée et c'est une période palpitante pour les partisans de la LCF. Mais aujourd'hui, nous sommes ici pour parler de l'avenir de notre ligue. The push towards the Grey Cup is well underway, and as Kate mentioned, it's an exciting time to be a fan of our game. Our season has showcased the hallmarks of the CFL: entertainment, excitement, and energy. But where do we go from here? What's next? We've gathered you all here today for a watershed moment in the Canadian Football League. 151 days ago, on my first day as commissioner, I stood in this very same room, and I talked an awful lot about enhancing the entertainment of our great game for our fans, both in the stands and at home. And through 16 weeks of football, I've watched so many incredible games with countless unreal moments. But a few plays have also stuck in my mind. We had the catch of the year, if not the decade, but some spectators, and certainly our television viewers, didn't get a great look at it because the goalposts blocked their view. The Tiger Cats found themselves deep in their own end, with their options severely limited by the goalposts. TSN's Paul Lapalisse did a great job of describing just how limited they were and just how predictable that made the next play. Argonaut quarterback Nick Arbuckle was in the scoring zone when a 13th defender knocked down what could have been a thrilling touchdown pass. I give you the doink. These plays did not incite the changes I'll discuss today, but they serve as recent, powerful examples that show we can do better. Our game must continue to evolve and modernize for our players, our fans, and our partners. A last-second field goal in a tie game sails wide through the end zone, and the kicking team is awarded a single point and a less than inspiring victory, what some have called rewarding failure. A team settles for a long field goal instead of an exciting third down gamble because the goalposts on the goal line, as well as the safety net of a potential rouge, encourage them to play it cautiously. A touchdown pass is completed in the corner of the end zone in one stadium, but everyone knows the same catch would have been out of bounds in other venues. We have seen a defensive lineman run 50 yards downfield to make a substitution, preventing the official from whistling in the play, slowing the game down, and exhausting a player before the ensuing play. These types of idiosyncrasies have been in our game for a long time, but that doesn't have to be the case. Today, we announce a significant step towards achieving our vision for the future of the CFL, with innovative landmark changes beginning next season through a phased approach. This will mark a major evolution of our game. As part of our most significant structural changes in 2027, we will move the goalposts from the goal line to the back of the end zone. This will allow passing offenses to target the middle of the end zone rather than defaulting to the sides to avoid goalposts. It will make going for a touchdown instead of settling for a field goal more attractive. It will deliver more unobstructed sight lines for fans, viewers, and television cameras. It will allow quarterbacks and punters, when operating from their own end zone, to play more freely. It will improve player safety because while collisions with the post may not be commonplace, the risk is clear. It will mean a touchdown pass will have to be stopped by a defender and not the occasional upright or crossbar. By moving the goalposts back, we project a 10% increase in completed passes in the end zone and 60 more touchdowns each year. In addition, end zones will also be shortened from 20 yards to 15. Our game will still feature the largest end zones in professional football while maintaining the importance of the kicking game. But this change ensures, for the first time in years, that all CFL end zones will be the same size. As you may know, Toronto's BMO Field features 18-yard end zones, and we have all seen the cropped corners at Percival Molson Stadium in Montreal. Lastly, in 2027, we will shorten the field from 110 yards to 100. This will, of course, allow offenses to start closer to the opponent's goal line. The shortened field keeps field goals in play despite the repositioned goalposts. To be clear, no changes are being made to the field's 65-yard width. Ahead of these structural changes in 2027, we will introduce a first phase of innovation in 26. This phased approach is essential. It ensures that our teams and stadiums have the time to explore how best to modify turf and reposition goalposts while evaluating opportunities for additional premium seating and new fan experiences. It also provides amateur football with a chance to review the potential impacts of these changes and determine if they wish to align with our vision and how that could be done. The first phase, coming in 2026, will include the introduction of an automatic 35-second play clock to create more consistent game flow. The CFL's current 20-second play clock must be manually initiated by an official. This change eliminates inconsistencies in timing caused by teams getting set at their own pace, varying times to set yardage markers, and much more. This change will ensure greater consistency in how long players, coaches, and fans have to wait between plays, while empowering players to control the pace of play, instilling a clear sense of urgency at the end of each half in game-altering moments. Another measure to hammer home this consistency in game flow will be the requirement to have team benches on opposite sides of the field in every stadium. Currently, some venues have benches side by side, which may require a substituting player to run nearly the length of the field to enter the game. And finally, I'll start by saying we are keeping the rouge, which is synonymous with the uniqueness of Canadian football, but we will modify it. There will no longer be a point awarded for a missed field goal or for a punt that sails through the back of the end zone, or if it rolls out of the rear or sides without being touched by a returner. This removes the possibility that the Grey Cup or a playoff matchup, or any game for that matter, will be decided by a missed field goal or a punt or a kickoff through the end zone. However, if a punt, field goal, or kickoff settles in the end zone and a returner fails to run it out or takes a knee, a single point rouge will still be awarded. The rouge becomes an active play outcome. When the full package of changes takes effect in 2027, including the shorter playing field, the modified rouge, and the repositioned goalposts, it will encourage more aggressive play calling, particularly on third down, when you consider the threat posed by a dynamic returner on a shorter field and an opponent's more favorable field position following a punt. This combination of changes will deliver more touchdowns. It will open up our end zones to our great passers and play callers, and it will ensure no game is decided by a missed field goal or a punt through the end zone. And fans in stadiums and at home will no longer have an obstruction between them and our most important highlight-worthy plays. C'est un jour important pour la LCF. C'est une avancée majeure dans l'évolution de notre sport, non seulement dans sa pratique, mais aussi dans la manière dont il fait vibrer nos partisans. This is an exciting day for the CFL. This is a clear step forward in the evolution of our game, not only in how it's played, but also in how it's enjoyed. It is important to note that this package of changes was approved unanimously by the CFL's lead governors, which includes team owners and chairs, and I want to recognize their boldness and decisive action. They understand that we can and must advance our game, not by abandoning what makes it so great and unique, but by building upon our game's legacy to make it more exciting, more entertaining, and better for our fans. This vision will enhance the value of our teams and the value of the CFL to to our partners. Before we open up to questions, please turn your attention to the screen for a short video that does a great job of bringing these changes to life.
For generations, the Canadian Football League has thrilled fans with its speed, skill, and pace of play. It is a game built on tradition, yet never afraid to evolve. Now, the CFL is taking the next step in its evolution, a series of bold strategic changes designed to elevate the action, enhance the viewer experience, and position the league for the future. These updates will create more highlight-worthy plays, improve sightlines, and deliver more entertainment. Change 1, goalposts and field size. The goalposts will shift from the front of the end zones near the goal line to the back of the end zones. Repositioning the goalposts removes an obstruction for the players and for the in-stadium and broadcast viewers. This change allows quarterbacks to use the entire end zone to their advantage. Historically, the placement of the goalposts has largely removed the middle of the end zone for quarterbacks. By shifting the goalposts, offenses will have the entire end zone to work with unobstructed. This will also remove the goalposts as an obstacle for teams operating deep in their own territory, or for defensive players covering receivers in the end zone. With the goalposts shifting to the back of the end zones themselves will be shortened from 20 yards to 15 yards. This will help mitigate the impact on field goal kicking, while still delivering a larger end zone than other forms of football. In addition to the reduced size of the end zones, the field will be condensed to 100 yards. This means that offenses will be starting drives 10 yards closer to their opponent's end zone and only 5 yards further from a field goal, despite the shifted goalposts. Team decision-making on third down is heavily influenced by field position. Typically, third down decisions are mostly scrutinized between midfield and the opposing 40-yard line. By reducing the overall field length to 100 yards and pushing the goalposts to the back of the end zone, this decision zone expands, encouraging more aggressive third down attempts as teams push for touchdowns, creating higher stakes plays that add decisive, entertaining moments to the game. Change 2, rouge rule redefined. The rouge rule gets a modern twist. Now, a single point is only awarded if the return team is tackled in the end zone or concedes voluntarily. No more points for missed kicks or punts, or kickoffs that sail or bounce out of the end zone. This eliminates a reward for failure, removing the risk of a game being won by a missed attempt. Kickers may also be encouraged to keep the ball in play more, forcing returns and creating opportunities for cover teams to trap opponents in their end zone. Offenses lose the safety net of guaranteed points on deep kicks, shifting decision-making towards more aggressive third down attempts and precision kicking. Special teams coordinators gain an expanded tactical role as directional kicking, coverage schemes, and situational rouges become more meaningful parts of the game. Change 3, play clock reset. We're introducing an automatic play clock reset, keeping the urgency up, the tempo fast, the action flowing, and the game flow consistent. Previously, each play required the official to reset the field for the next play and blow in the start of a 20-second play clock. The reliance on the official to initiate the play clock led to variability play by play and game to game. By moving to a 35-second play clock that resets automatically after each play, the CFL's unique pace will be maintained with consistency across games. Change 4, opposite sidelines. Teams will now occupy opposite sidelines in every stadium. This consistency improves visual presentation, reduces congestion, and streamlines player substitutions, as players will be closer to the play, regardless of where the spot of the ball is. It's a small shift with a big impact on game flow and presentation. These upgrades are designed to both honor tradition and embrace innovation. More touchdowns, cleaner visuals, smarter rules, a more entertaining game for everyone. Welcome to the new era of the Canadian Football League.
We will now begin the question and answer period. We kindly request that you use a microphone when speaking. Before asking your question, kindly state your name and media affiliation, and please limit yourself to one question and a follow-up. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We have Herb and Arpen here with mics. Go ahead, Frank.
Thank you, Commissioner, for doing this. I guess the question The two questions are, the goalposts will be on the end line or how many yards past the end line?
They will be set up basically even with the end line.
Right. So, and then now there's the situation with the 35-second clock where there's an opportunity for the opposition that doesn't have the ball to waffle. What protection do we have against that?
Are you referring to timing maybe towards
Yes, because you have a running clock. It's going to start without the referee's decision, and then the play has to start, right? The team with the ball has a right, I think, to have that 35 seconds, not have it mitigated by the opposition.
I think we're actually doing a lot to clean that up under the current format, because there is a lot teams can do with substitutions that prevent the start of that 20-second clock. Now it's straight up. We know it's 35 seconds, dead ball to snap, and I think that consistency is going to be appreciated by all teams and coaches.
Any other questions?
Thank you. Thomas Dagg, CBC News. Why now?
Why now for an announcement?
All these changes.
There are a number of reasons why we're moving forward at this time with this announcement. Number one is these are fairly significant infrastructure changes. We'd like to give our teams a year and a half to consider moving the goalposts, changing their turf. I'd also like to offer amateur football a good length of time to consider what these changes could be. And finally, we as a league are going to move at pace. I want urgency on the field, and I want urgency in our business. And we are going to push forward, and I saw no reason to delay.
Some of these changes bring the CFL more in line with the NFL. To what extent are these changes due to the popularity of the NFL in Canada?
Absolutely no percentage of these changes were made because of any type of comparison to the NFL. I look at the turf as a canvas. It's a canvas for our great game. 12 players, waggle, 3 downs. And we have cleaned up our canvas, and we've made it so much more open for the athleticism, the artistry, and the playmaking of our teams and players. That's what the focus has been on.
Go ahead, Justin.
Justin Dunk, 3downnation.com. Commissioner, my first one would be, you've only been on the job 151 days. How did you get to the point where you're making these types of changes in that little time frame? Can you take us through the process?
Sure. I came to this job with a message to the league governors, and they gave me the same message back. Status quo is unacceptable. So I came in with a lot of energy, and I've got an incredible team at the league office. I did a listening tour over the first 100 days, and we gathered a very small group at the league office that included football ops, marketing, data analytics, and we pushed forward these changes. We analyzed them, we understood, and every step of the way, we became more excited. Everything we unearthed was, oh my goodness, this is even better than we thought. This is going to create such an entertaining product on the field. At that point, we gathered all that data, presented to the league governors, and had unanimous and enthusiastic approval.
In the past, there's been some rumors about the league potentially going to 4 downs. The hardcore fans are going to look at these changes and think this is going that way. Can you guarantee that under your watch, the CFL will never go to 4 downs?
I don't offer guarantees. I don't say the word never. However, I will say this was our major focus on the rules of the game and the infrastructure on which we play. I think you're going to hear a lot from myself and the league with exciting announcements over the next coming weeks and months. We're not focused on rules. Of course, we have a rules committee, and it will annually look to tweak and improve our game. But we have a lot of other exciting announcements we're working on, and that's our focus.
Morning, Commissioner Jermaine, Fan First Network. Can you just talk about the mindset in terms of the 2 phases and why the certain rule changes are happening in both the phases?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that we've moved the field infrastructure changes to 2027 to give all the clubs enough time to consider the impact of changing turf, changing paint, changing goalposts, figuring out new premium seating availability because we've shortened the field by 20 yards. So there's going to be more area behind the field. So it gives the teams enough time to focus on that. It also gives us enough time to have conversations with amateur football in Canada and see where they'd like to go and describe why we're making these changes and see if they align to that. And finally, for the changes we're instituting in 26, we're getting at it. There was no reason to avoid those changes.
Great, thanks. And just to follow up, for you, again, short time in the role and a lot of changes, less than a year, was there a hierarchy of rule changes for you personally? Was there something like when you stepped into the office, there's like, this is one thing I need to change immediately? Can you just talk about like your priority level for all these different changes?
You just saw us announce my priority. This was it. I came to the office with a lot of focus. When did I start thinking about goalposts? I think it was September 1987. I think that was it. I was playing quarterback on my football team, and I wasn't very good. However, I threw one of the best passes of my life on a post pattern. I think it was a 50, well, it wasn't 50, probably a 35-yard bomb. That's about the extent of my arm. And my favorite receiver, Jason Dewar, was running that post pattern, and that spiral was tight, and it landed on the ground right next to the post because, understandably, he had let up trying to avoid a steel post that was in his way. And I thought, why do we do this? And then when we brought the team together, boy, did the analytics just absolutely supported what moving those posts out of the way can do for our game. So it's a priority. We didn't look at other rule changes and discard them. This really was the focus.
Matthew Cheney with TSN. Stu, if you're not going to provide any guarantees for potential other changes in the future, what is the period of evaluation after 2027 that yourself, the Board of Governors, and the PA are going to have to take a look at how the rule changes are affecting the game?
Oh, I think we'll be evaluating game by game and week by week and season by season. So that we're not going to give it a certain amount of time where, well, let's see how 2 years works out. We'll be looking and analyzing the data every week. And I truly believe we're going to be excited by the data that we see. And I'm looking forward to analyzing every aspect of our league, the business operations, marketing, the league itself, how we relate to our fans, in-stadium experience. All of that's on the table for us. We are going to push forward.
But is there, because there are two identifying markers that are going to change, the 55-yard line and obviously the end zones moving are two things, and the rouge too, are some identifiers that people have with the league. Is there any rule that you hold sacred? Is there any rule that you think is distinctly so unique to this game that it has to stay?
I'm just going to answer that, Matthew, by saying I love our game. I love our game. And these changes are going to elevate the display and presentation of our game. That was the focus.
Commissioner Gilbert Ngabo from Toronto Star. I wonder if you can talk about the steps you've taken as a league to ensure that these changes help bring more fans to the game rather than drive them away.
Well, really it comes down, thank you for the question. We think touchdowns are an important driver for fandom. And ultimately what we're doing is we're trading field goals for touchdowns. And with all respect and appreciation for our field goal kickers, I did actually also kick when I was playing high school, so I do have a close connection there. This is going to create more touchdowns. And more touchdowns creates more highlights. And highlights drive through all forms of media, and that does drive fandom.
Any further questions? Thank you. That ends the formal process of the press conference. We will hold a scrub and one-on-ones in about 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.